So is it time to bench Mitchell Turbisky and put in Kenny Pickett? It's an interesting question, so that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. For the record, I thought Kenny Pickett should have been the starter day one. I liked enough of what I saw in preseason to put him in, but I'm not seeing what's in practice, so who knows? So all we can really evaluate is how we've seen Turbisky play for the Steelers. Offense wasn't great week 1 and definitely wasn't great in week 2 either. But I'm going to start off with this play because I do want to display that there are some plays that, regardless of what quarterback is in there, just weren't going to work. And part of that is just the Patriots have a good defense. I still think the Patriots have a great defense, and it's kind of getting overlooked a little bit, which is why I'm kind of higher on the Patriots than most currently, so I'm not too upset about the Steelers losing this one. I think they lost to a good team. Listen, I could be wrong about that. I've been wrong before, but let's talk about what's going to happen on this play, where it's going to be, it's a good concept against this type of coverage, actually, where you have the only eligible receiver who's currently lined up to the offense's right, going to be running a deep route to take that corner out of the way. Now, you have another receiver in motion who is going to get in that direction, but for New England, they can definitely have someone pick him up, but you're going to have to also pick up get a third guy to pick up the tight end who's running underneath. So you eventually have 3 different players who are going to get all the way to the right when the defense currently thinks they only have to account for 1 guy. However, when Turbisky runs this play action, it's a Bill Belichick defense. So what do you think they're doing? Of course, they're covering it up well. The Patriots, I don't care who they have. I don't care Jalen Mills, cornerback 1. They figure it out. Their coverage is always going to be good. There's nothing open here. And the reality is, if nothing is getting open in the coverage department, your quarterback is always going to look bad. And that's kind of what's happening here. Turbisky instead just hits the check down. And this is a classic example of, sometimes, fans get annoyed. Why are you hitting the check down? Why won't you push the ball down the field? Well, sometimes it's because pushing the ball down the field is just not an option on specific plays. So there's not much you can do. So there were some of this, and Kenny Pickett isn't going to help out with much of this. But I also think Kenny Pickett will still do the right thing here, and he knows how to run an offense as well. He's a smart player for a rookie. He would also have thrown this check down. So for this play, there's really no advantage or disadvantage to having Pickett out there. But what about this play? I mean, let's just be honest. This play was terrible. I mean, this was just I don't know what Turbisky was thinking. He's not usually that bad at these types of plays. It's not like he's, throwing to the other team consistently a lot. So I don't know exactly why he decided to do this. Usually his, mistakes tend to be accuracy mistakes more so than decision-making mistakes. But it's one of those plays that, again, on paper is a good play. It's a route that typically will get into a gap in coverage at a certain point on the play. So his first read being this route is cool. I actually agree with that. But when Turbisky takes the snap and, again, runs a play action, it's Bill Belichick's scheme defense, is knowing where they should be, knowing the passing lane to get in front, and stepping right in front of that. I don't know if Turbisky just didn't see over the offensive line and didn't see him. That's my only guess, because this feels as obvious as it gets that this route is not open. This is way too dangerous of a throw for Turbisky to make. He makes it anyways. It's dropped, but then still intercepted by the safeties. So the wrong guy intercepted it, but Turbisky earned an interception on that throw, despite it being a bit of a fluky way to have it happen. So this is definitely one that you hope Pickett doesn't make, but I would also say it's one you hope Turbisky doesn't make. It is uncharacteristic of even Turbisky. It was a brain dead decision. I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to completely, if I wanted to have Turbisky be the starter, I wouldn't completely shift gears just because of that one play, I guess is what I would say. And going over here, again, I do think that, this is just the nature of quarterback play, is you get all the credit when things go well and you get all the blame when things go poorly. Turbisky got all the blame when things would go poorly. This is a great example of they just got to kind of figure out how to get everyone working together, I think, is part of this. Because you see 2 receivers right there, and watch as they cross over. It's supposed to be a rub route, but they ended up, hitting each other, meaning neither one of them could get open, and then Turbisky had to throw it short. The whole point of that play is you run close enough to each other that hopefully a defender kind of gets, out of position because of that. You got yourselves out of position and took 2 of your own receivers, out of the play on that one, and that was what Turbisky wanted to throw to. So, again, kind of funny, not a big deal in this, the whole of things. Listen, it's week 2. You still have to work out the kinks of your offense. It is what it is. But it's more so a general point that there were times when Turbisky did the right thing on plays and it didn't work due to things that were outside of his control. Granted, you also like a quarterback sometimes to be able to, even when nothing's there, still find a way to make something happen. It doesn't have to just be with scrambling out of the pocket and biding more time. It can be like a Tom Brady thing of getting someone to, run a different route at the line of scrimmage that then is more likely to work, that kind of stuff. So Turbisky's not to blame for this play, but it's also fair to say that you would like to see him sometimes make plays because of him. I think that's reasonable. You also have this play where what's going to happen is it's a one-on-one matchup. It's going to be man coverage. And again, this is the kind of thing where I like this decision to make the throw. I thought Turbisky, with the exception of that awful interception, for the most part was making the correct decisions in this game. As you see, Turbisky is going to look towards his left. There is no separation, so maybe that's the one thing you could say is don't throw it to a guy without any separation. Maybe you don't want to do that. However, I think things change when you know the situation and you know what is the one-on-one matchup. And typical scenario, I think I might agree. Maybe it's not the best move to make this throw. But when it's Deontay Johnson, who's a great jump ball receiver, we'll trust him. Use that tool. If he's someone who can make a great contested catch, use that. He is going to make a great throw, and it is going to be caught for a touchdown right there. So at first, it seemed like it was something that, again, was not going to work because it was and not really to any fault of his own, but he does actually make a good throw there and is able to, get a touchdown. Now, is that something that I'm going to give him credit for? No, I give Johnson credit for it. But I do kind of give him credit for putting it in a position where Johnson could make that play, and that's something that I'm not sure a rookie would have thought of. Maybe Pickett would have. He's, again, smart for a rookie, but this is probably why Tomlin likes Turbisky. Then going over to this play, what we're going to see here is, again, another, I think, good play by the offense. And we saw a few of these, and I think we'll see more of these when the Steelers don't have to play the New England Patriots. Again, I think that, their defense played well. Sometimes you have to tip your cap. I'm going to assume that they can, get a little better playing the Browns on Thursday. Hopefully it'll work out better for them. However, watch how when Turbisky takes the snap, you're seeing, he has a guy just wide open right here underneath the safety, but past the corner. This is a great scenario for Turbisky. So again, guys are getting open. I think that you will see more guys get open in better situations, and maybe he can run the offense better. But Turbisky is able to throw it. He's able to hit George Pickens, and they're able to pick up a big chunk play right there. I did feel like he did a good job of, when there were yards there, taking them. So should Turbisky still be the starter? My take on this might be a little bit different than other people's take on it. I think that, I try to look at the whole of the game and not just, simplify solutions, because a lot of times these things are very complex. A lot of times it's not just the quarterback sucks, you need to put in a different quarterback. A lot of times it's the scheme you're going up against, the receiving core, the defensive back play, the, defensive coordinators versus your offensive coordinators. All of that stuff plays factors, and so trying to isolate it just to Turbisky makes things a little bit more difficult. So I think that if you came into the season believing that Turbisky would be the starter, you should probably keep him as a starter. I don't think he's lost the job just yet, although if it continues for a couple more weeks, then I do think you get rid of him, because, my mindset is kind of, I don't think that if he was the starter, then even if he has 2 bad games, you should still believe he should be the starter. That being said, I never believed he should be the starter. Again, we know who Turbisky is. He's a fine quarterback who does some things well and some things not so well. But I want to see what Kenny Pickett can do. I feel like this team isn't really going many places with Turbisky, but they could be going places if Pickett comes on and has a Mac Jones type season, which I, half compared him to in this draft. I kind of said he does some Mac Jones type things, but it was a little concerning. We only saw it for 1 year, and it was as, Pickett was older. Is he just beating up on kids younger than him? Well, maybe, but I still want to see it, and I still feel like there's potential there. So that's kind of what I think about the Pickett versus Turbisky's scenario. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on Turbisky? Do you think that they should make a move? I'm going to bet most of you do think they should make a move, but I'm still interested in hearing what you have to say, so let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.